Welcome in, everybody. Working hard or hardly working this week. It's my favorite week of the year. It's Masters Week, and I'm pumped. Lots of top names: DJ, Rory, everyone's in except for Ricky. Poor Ricky. I hate to see that. He was supposed to win. He had like 2 or 3 weeks to try to get a win, and he couldn't pull it off. So Ricky Fowler is not playing this year, which sucks. This is our 4th episode of Home Court, and we're really enjoying it. After the episode, if you guys could do us a favor, go ahead and subscribe to our YouTube, Spotify, whatever you're listening to. We don't
I actually
post
just
a bunch.
put it on the Apple Podcast too. So,
a little
that's
Apple
what you
Podcast
use.
action. We only post once a week, so we're not going to blow you up. But yeah, just help us out if you like it. If you don't like it, don't subscribe because you're probably stupid.
Because
anyways.
why subscribe? All right, Connor, I got to come clean about something.
Yeah.
I didn't watch the NCAA championship game last night. I mean, who am I? I've changed.
What?
Instead, I went out to dinner. I had a date night. Me and my girl, year and a half. It's been a year and a half since we started dating.
Whew.
Time flies. And I'll tell you what, the Indian restaurant we went to, one of the best dining experiences of my entire life. India Grill, if you live in Los Angeles. The service was amazing. The food even better.
Did we get some spicy curry?
I did order it spicy. I got some chicken korma. Some chicken korma.
Oh.
Yeah, I
Mamacita.
can't even begin to tell you how good this place is. It's unbelievable. I didn't know what Indian food was until I went there. And we've spent a lot of time trying to find our spot in Los Angeles, and it's the one.
Yeah, that is tough. Like I hit a lot of restaurants in Atlanta, and it's like, oh, this place is so good. And then I think, try somewhere else. Oh, this place is so good. It's like, where is the spot? And then you find that one, and you're like,
exactly. You're so right, because
home.
There's in big cities, there's so much good food. So you're like, this is great, but is it great enough to make it my regular spot?
Yeah.
And it has to be so above and beyond good to make it your regular spot.
And a good price. Like, good is relative to, like, location, parking, at least in Atlanta, like, price, all that stuff.
Yeah, can we get a seat on any given night? Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, and the prices at this place were super reasonable. Parking easy. It's our spot, and we're gonna go probably once a week. They gave us free dessert yesterday because they recognized us from the first time we went. That's how great awesome. It was, and they were so happy. They were happy that we were there, and I feel like I'm way off topic right now, but
I love that.
Amazing experience. Can you tell me how the championship game went? Because I thought Gonzaga was the odds-on favorite, and I would have put my life on it. Good thing I did not bet on that game.
I did put my life on it, and I put my life on Baylor, actually. I think Baylor and UCLA were super similar teams. UCLA was just like a poor man's version of Baylor as far as like the way they score, the way they defend, and so I smacked it on, I think, Sunday night, and it hit, so I was pumped.
It's a good bet because I wouldn't have been brave enough.
Do you know like anything about the game?
I mean, I know that Jalen Suggs is boss. And
Jalen Suggs is a boss. Yeah, so Baylor had the lead at 10 and going into half, and then Gonzaga came out in like 8-point. They scored right off the first possession. We were like, okay, this is going to be a game. And then Baylor just right back in the mouth, just punched them and ran away with it. They had the lead the entire game, didn't have the lead. And it was just kind of easy, boring, like you said, just boring dub. But it was a fun game to watch. I enjoy watching Suggs play. There's a lot of talent on that Baylor team that I didn't realize NBA ready talent, just as far as like ISO scoring, stuff like that.
Yeah, it seems like it. It just seems like these two teams were destined to meet each other in the championship game. It seems like they are the two most organized teams and balanced organization with talent. And that was them too. A lot of other teams in college basketball seemed halfway there because this year was really hard to organize a solid squad with all the COVID.
It was weird without Kentucky and Duke being like anything.
Feels off. And then UNC loses first round. Michigan State loses in the first 4, even though it was to UCLA, and they completely blew it, which, unbelievable. UCLA made that run. I had a feeling that either Michigan State or UCLA, whoever won that game, was going to go. And my brackets, I didn't change, so it reflected that. My brackets looked amazing. I had UCLA in the Final Four.
Same. Yeah, I had UCLA in the Final Four, even though I met Michigan State.
Yeah,
And that was like
I
my
went
only
back and I was
pick
like,
besides
shoot, I should
Gonzaga.
change this, and then it was too late.
Yeah.
And yeah, it did really well. In other news, Connor, I am finally back on the basketball court. It's been it must be at least 3 months, maybe more. The rims in Los Angeles are down. The city came around, took away my fun, and I finally met some friends, and they told me that there's a couple hoops open, 30-minute drive for me, but worth it. Went out there, and sure enough, I still got it. I got it, Connor.
Balled it like a blazer? I'm sure you do. Were there pickup games, or were you just...
I just jumped in on a 3-on-3. I think normally at these parks, they're supposed to be full court pickup, which much preferred, in my opinion, because I'm there for the cardio. But the 3-on-3 was super fun, and just maybe it was a good intro back in because I am out of shape. Basketball is a huge source of exercise for me, and when I don't play it, I become bulbous.
Yeah. Bulbous is a great term.
All right, should we jump into the NBA?
Yeah, let's hit it.
Yeah, let's jump into the NBA.
This is an NBA podcast, so we should talk.
Yeah, I know. I want to talk about myself all the time, Connor. Don't you know?
Same.
Open it up.
So we just finished the tournament. There was a ton of talent that stood out to me, at least, especially last night. And I hadn't watched a ton before that, as far as actual basketball goes for the tournament, just because I don't care that much until the Final Four. But what are your thoughts on Jalen Suggs, Cade Cunningham? Do we want the Pistons to get Suggs? Do we think he is a good enough scorer, ISO scorer, or is he just another great distributor and
I think he's got it all. I think he's got
playmaker?
It all. He's just, I feel like he knows how to get it done. He's one of those guys that instant impact. And I talked about this a few weeks ago. I want Jalen Suggs on the Pistons. I don't want anyone else. And I know we probably won't be able to get Cade Cunningham, but I just have this inkling that Suggs has what it takes to really produce in the NBA from the get-go. And I think he's got a high enough ceiling. He plays with athleticism. He's a good playmaker, good shooter. He's got everything I want on the Pistons. Cade Cunningham, I was hoping to see more of in the tournament. I was hoping that he would parlay that OK State success into the tournament so we could see more of him, because I have not watched a ton of him still. Everyone says he's the number one pick no matter what. But I don't know. When you see a guy go through the tournament and have success, especially in the clutch, it just seems like he's got that factor that is hard. It's hard to figure out who's got it before they're in the NBA. But for Jalen Suggs, I feel pretty sure about him. What do you think about Evan Mobley? USC made a pretty good run.
Yeah, Mobley's a good player. I wanted to bring up really quick Jared Butler.
Mm-hmm.
Dude, I think he actually has a chance to be like all-star. I don't think he's going to get drafted as a top talent, but the way he played last night showed me that he's physical defensively and offensively and getting to the basket. I don't know that much about Evan Mobley. Like I said, man, we're not really college basketball guys. Let's be honest with you.
Jared Butler won player of the tournament, correct?
Yeah, Final Four, whatever.
Final Four is most
exactly
outstanding
player, I think it's called.
Yeah, well, again, I didn't watch that game. Can't believe it. But Jalen Suggs is the guy, and if the Pistons don't get him, I'm sure something will go wrong. But I like him, and let's move on. Let's go to the NBA. So let's talk about something we know. That sounds like a good idea, huh?
Yeah, let's get into the things we actually know stuff about.
I want to hear some first impressions on the trades. Who's won them so far? Obviously, it's way too early to tell. But we've seen these guys on their respective teams for a couple games now, and just to get it started, Gary Trent, he seems to be settling into Toronto really well. And I know Norman Powell's having a fine time in Portland, but they also had to give up Rodney Hood to get Norman Powell. So I'm thinking Toronto's making out of this trade favorably. What do you think?
Yeah. Gary Trent did hit that coast-to-coaster last night, which was pretty sweet. But Norman Powell, I don't know. Toronto, in my mind, is like entering rebuild mode where like they're going to start giving these younger guys some minutes. They want to see how Powell fits into the offense. Like they're going to let him kind of let loose for a little bit here at the end of the year. And Gary Trent, I think the same thing. So it's hard to tell. I think the Bulls, like their last couple of L's with Vooch, it kind of changed my mind on the whole deal. I was excited originally, and I wouldn't say I'm not still excited, but the point is, like, Vooch is going to be 31. He might already be 31, and he's not a piece that's going to get them to the ship, right? Like, Levine and Vooch isn't enough. What else are they going to do? So do they just mortgage away a bunch of picks for a Eastern Conference 7th or 6th seed?
Yeah, I don't know, because their picks aren't going to be great anyway if they're a 6 or 7 or 8 seed. And we got to remember Kobe White's been out, and I think Kobe White means more to that team than people give him credit for.
True. I agree.
And it's like he's on a new team. Vooch has been on the Magic for years and years and years, and maybe he needs to get used to a winning culture. Or maybe Chicago also needs to realize that they have what it takes to win tough games. Because I like their lineup when healthy. They got, when healthy, Kobe White, Zach LaVine, you got Thaddeus Young, Patrick Williams, and Vooch. That's a legit starting lineup. And
they just moved not Kaminsky. Who's their big power forward?
Wendell Carter.
Yeah, Wendell, and then what's the other guy? The shooter. They just moved him to the bench.
They didn't move Lauri Markkanen. Oh, moved him to the bench. Okay, yeah. I thought you were talking to a different team. But yeah, he's on the bench, and I think he's a solid player too. So him coming off the bench really solidifies that second unit. This team, they can do some damage. I like what they have, but they're not a contender.
Yeah.
So it's either like, do you respect them for trying to win now, or do you say you're not good enough to win a championship, so what's the point?
Yeah.
That one's going to be tough because, you start out with a 4-game losing streak with Vooch, and it makes it look bad, but there's just so much more to learn about this trade and how they can fit in together. And Zach LaVine's been bumped up too, so we're dealing with kind of an injured Bulls team. And Vooch is putting up numbers like he always does, so it's just hard to tell. Let's talk about Fournier. I thought Fournier was going to do everything for the Celtics. I thought he was going to come in and they were going to all of a sudden be a contender again. But he started out, his first game, he may have gone over 10. I remember looking at the stats.
He did go over 10.
Yeah. I couldn't believe it. I couldn't believe my eyes. Is that nerves? He's at a bigger market, and he knows that people are expecting a lot from him. And you think it's just nerves? Because he settled in a little bit his past couple games, but his first 2 games, he made them lose. He took enough shots and missed enough shots in close games that they lost that he was the reason.
Yeah, I mean, first of all, shooters fucking shoot, dude. Like, if you're a shooter, you're going to keep shooting. I don't care if you're over 10. I think Kobe was the one that really instilled that in just all basketball culture. You miss, eventually it's going to go in, and it didn't go in. Part of that is just probably a little bit of bad luck combined with, nerves. But he'll settle in just fine. I think he would have been better on the Bucks than he would have been on the Celtics. I'm not, like we've talked about this, Brad Stevens is slipping far down my list of guys that I'm excited about as far as coaching and organization goes. So
yeah, we used to think Brad Stevens was the guy.
And he might. They make a playoff push and they go to the Eastern Conference Finals and come up, or whatever. And Fournier all of a sudden fits in great down the stretch and things work out well. Then Brad back in on Brad Stevens for the time being, but he's on the slippery slope.
I saw Mo Wagner getting starts for the Celtics. I was shocked.
I told you he was, because Robert Williams is a great player, but they don't have any bigs.
I know.
They just don't have any bigs on there, any size on the roster.
It seems like you're going to need to be a little bit bigger than Boston to contend, even though the team that's probably the favorite is not going to play super big, as in the Nets. All right, but how about the Nuggets? The Nuggets have been trending up for over a month now, but Gordon seems to be helping. They're on a 5-game winning streak since he arrived. I love what he does for this team. It's another dynamic. It's another thing to worry about. He's shooting well. He's going to get the ball in easy spots to score from Jokic. The Nuggets, to me, they're a legitimate contender. I like them a lot. I don't even know how good Jamal Murray has to be. To win, he's got to be bubble Jamal. We know that.
Yes.
but to go to 7 games in the Western Conference Finals, Jokic seems like you can take him there. And they got a lot. I mean, I don't know. He's that good. Jokic is the MVP right now, in my opinion.
Yeah.
What do you think?
Yeah. There's another point I want to get to. Like, this is more of a long explanation here, but the short of it is that Jokic is absolutely insane. We haven't seen a player like him in a long time. He's like Marc Gasol mixed with Magic Johnson.
Yeah, it's wild.
It's insane.
And he moves slow.
What are they, 4th in the West right now, or 5th? Well, the Lakers just moved to 5th, so yeah. The Nuggets are 4th. I mean, the Clippers are right above them, and then Phoenix. So I mean, there's so much talent in the West. You never know.
I know, but I still look at the West and I'm like, there's only a couple teams I really believe in to win.
Yeah.
What do you think about?
I like Gordon. I think he's exciting, especially just the way that Jokic passes in the post. I mean, and with all these teams going small and having 2 athletic guys that can just be under the rim, getting offensive rebounds, all that. I mean, it's an advantage for sure.
Yeah. What do you think about Oladipo? He's only played 2 games, but he started both of them, and he's been poor. I think he scored 6 points and 8 points. He's not taking a tremendous amount of shots, but that could just be settling in too. What do you think?
Yeah. Well, it's part settling in, part getting healthy, because remember, he was not healthy, and he isn't healthy right now still. So, I mean, he's got to find that balance.
Yeah, so it is hard to comment on it. But when you see those first 2 games, though, it reminds you of how inefficient he can be at times. So it worries me. But if he's at his best, Miami can be a really tough out, a really good team. You want to move on? I feel like we talked trades last week almost exclusively. You got anything else?
I want to go into a little bit of. I mentioned Marc Gasol's name earlier, and Jokic does remind me of Marc Gasol. As far as, I mean, people forget that Marc was like running the floor, like catching passes down court. Yeah, I mean, and he was great. This was years ago when he was on the Grizzlies with Mike Conley and Zebo. And me and Sam were having a discussion in our group chat earlier this week about Mike Conley. And I just want to hear your thoughts quickly. If Mike had played for a big market team, if he was in the LAs, if he was in the Bostons, if he was in, Chicago, would he have had more of a presence off the court as far as like being a superstar goes? More ads? Was he that good?
I mean, he's showing how good he is right now. And this is late in his career. And he's getting paid a ton, so he's got that superstar money. He's got the superstar game. But while his game is really efficient and really effective, it's not super flashy. He's not above the rim ever. He'll make some sweet little passes. He's a really good shooter, but watching him is, I mean, he's not must-watch TV, we'll say. He's just a little too safe with his decisions, which is a good thing for a point guard like that, you know? Like, he doesn't make horrible mistakes almost ever. And and sometimes you want a guy to make mistakes. Like, LaMelo Ball flings the ball around, and we love to watch it because we're like, how does he fit the ball in there? Because he tries, you know? Yeah.
To me, like, there's a new age and an old age, whatever you want to call it, style of point guard in the NBA. And we're really seeing that old age, the Chris Pauls and the Mike Conleys of the world. They're still so effective, but they're dwindling. There's not many of them left. I mean, those guys, like Mike Conley played lockdown defense. He's getting steals. He's averaging 7, 8 assists, 9 assists a night. He's not scoring a ton, but when he does score, he's effective and it's efficient. And leading in offense, you know, all that stuff. And I think a lot of these guys, the Kembas of the world, the Kyries, LaMelo, I mean, they're flashy and they're scorers. They're not really playmaker, leader types. And that's just my thought on it. And I feel like Mike was just that fundamental characteristic of the point guard definition that we saw for most of our lifetime up until this new Steph Curry definition.
Yeah. Do you think Lonzo Ball is more of that old school type of floor general point guard? I know he's shooting a lot more than he used to, but he seems like one of those guys. He plays really hard on the defensive end. He's never been too concerned at getting his scoring numbers up. Great passer. Plays for the team. Unfortunately, the Pelicans are at their best when Zion dribbles the ball up the floor. But do you think Lonzo is more of that old age, or do you think he shows too much of the I want to shoot a ton of threes to to be considered one of those rough and tough type floor generals.
No, Lonzo, in my mind, is not a rough and tough floor general. But I do believe he is a floor general at heart. I think, yeah, I mean...
he plays great defense, so he's a little rough and tough.
No, I agree. But the floor general piece to me is more like the guy's in the backcourt with his fist up, calling a pick and roll with the big man, going to his left and getting to the bucket just to...
Yeah, like their movements look slow, but for some reason, time after time, they get the job done. Like Chris
using
Paul,
your body as a point guard, yes.
I totally agree. Totally agree. But I do want to talk about Lonzo for one more second.
Yeah, send it.
How long is it going to take for us to change our minds about Lonzo? Because I feel like as a consumer of the NBA, we generate our feelings for a player, and it's really hard for us to change our minds.
Yeah.
But Lonzo is turning into this asset that we thought, oh, there's no chance. He can't shoot. He can't score. He's just one of those guys that could be a good second unit point guard. But he's changing my mind. He's made more threes this year, and this sounds fake. He's made more threes this year than Trae Young, James Harden, Paul George, Brandon Ingram, Kyle Lowry, D-Book, Bradley Beal, and Chris
D-Book?
Middleton. Yeah, D-Book. He's made more threes than Devin Booker this year.
Wow.
I just saw that show up on my timeline yesterday, and he's shooting a lot more, but he's shooting 40%.
Yeah.
D-Book is shooting 36% from three, and he's having an unbelievable year. I don't want to take away from that because he's a huge reason the Suns look like a potential contender. But I cannot believe this Lonzo renaissance.
Yeah.
He's turning into an asset in more than just one way or two ways. He can do it all.
That's actually an incredible comparison in my mind is Lonzo and Booker because not their play styles, but Booker came in as primarily a three-point shooter that could shoot a mid-range jump shot, and Lonzo came in as this crazy distributor that couldn't score and had this weird jump shot. Booker has found an ability to get to the rim and be crafty and creative and shoot these, 1 foot kind of step back, almost Dirk-like shots, and take 2 dribbles hard and get to the rim. And now Lonzo has transitioned into a three-point specialist with also with an ability to play great defense and find open guys. So I love the evolution of players from their first 3 or 4 years in the league. The difference to me is that Booker has done it with the same team, and Lonzo's done it in 2 different organizations. Lonzo went to a different organization in order to make his evolution. Exactly. So that's also interesting.
It's definitely a good comparison in terms of like progression of game that we see, but they could not be more dissimilar in their playing style. Yeah. But you're right. Devin Booker could score 25 a game shooting no threes. He's become that kind of offensive player, and it doesn't hurt that Chris Paul's alongside him.
No, it does not. It only helps.
Speaking of offensive talents, can we just talk about Kyrie for 2 minutes?
Just Kyrie, being broken.
What's wrong with him? He's so good.
I have goosebumps after watching that game last night, the Knicks-Nets game. Just Kyrie is insane.
Yeah, he will get a bucket no matter what. There's nothing you can do. Put as many guys as you want on him. He'll just keep making moves, move after move after move after move until he shoots it. And the shot doesn't even have to look like a good shot, but it'll go in. I cannot believe what my eyes when I watch Kyrie.
And I'm going to say this. Kyrie Irving is a better bucket getter than Allen Iverson.
Okay.
It's fact.
I agree.
It's fact.
He's not necessarily as direct, should I say. Allen Iverson was going for those 30-point-a-game years. It seems like Kyrie doesn't, like, he could score 30 plus a game. We know that about Kyrie, but has he done it once in his career? Has he? No. So
not even close.
So while he can get a bucket better than anyone, maybe ever, he doesn't really push his scoring numbers up. Maybe that's just situation. He's been on good teams. He's been alongside LeBron. He just hasn't needed to. But, Allen Iverson had a couple 30-plus per game years.
Kyrie is averaging 28 this year, I guess.
Mm-hmm. Is high for his career?
Yeah, that's 3 points higher than anything else in his career. But He's also shooting his lowest three-point percentage besides his 2015 Cavs season, which is interesting.
That is interesting. But when you watch him, undeniable. He is the most ridiculous offensive talent we've ever seen.
Yeah.
His moves, the ball is attached to his hands on a string. And we've said that about a lot of players in the past, but it doesn't hold true until you watch Kyrie Irving.
And
yeah.
You know how fundamentally, like growing up, like it was always like be square to the basket. Like you have to shoot square to the basket. It was like preached in like AU and all that stuff growing up. Kyrie somehow maintains being square to the hoop while shooting step back fadeaway off one leg. It's insane.
I'm sure if you put like a basic jump shot of his next to a really hard turnaround fadeaway, during the shot, it would look almost exactly the same. Yeah. It's incredible. And here's something about the Nets. Kevin Durant started the year. We were like, oh, he's having an MVP season. He goes down. And then we're like, James Harden starts playing insane. And we're like, James Harden is having an MVP season. And then he, misses a few games. And we're like, Kyrie's having an MVP season. So we have 3 guys on the same team that we've thought were having an MVP season in the same year. What are we dealing with right now? Plus, they're getting everyone else.
They're still not going to win a ship.
Yeah. Well, I hope not.
I'll be the guy to make the declaration. But, yeah, man, they're absurd. And I'm happy for Nash that he's having a lot of success with them right now.
He's great. It seems like he gets wins even when his guys are out, all 3 of them. So,
also, on a side note, KD is playing tomorrow night.
That's huge. I'm really excited for him to be back. Night. Obviously, I would like to see all 3 of them together because Harden got another look at his groin, I believe, his hamstring. I don't know, but they took another look and he strained it, and they're reevaluating in 10 days. So while it's nice for them that KD's back, I really want to watch them again with all 3. And do you think it's going to cause problems?
Sam?
He's resting. He doesn't care. Okay.
They're the 5th seed now.
Yeah. What do you think? Where do you think they'll end up by the time he's back? Like I know AD's going to be back next week, but how far can the Lakers fall and not be worried? I'm kind of worried.
I honestly, the 5th seed might be the move.
It might be the fine, move. But they're going to be lower than the 5th seed by the time LeBron's back.
Are we doing like a playoff bubble?
What do you mean? Like, is the NBA having a bubble?
Yeah, playoff bubble.
I don't know exactly what you mean.
Because, like, they were talking about, like, this was, like, a while ago. I haven't even looked into this at all, but, like, doing a bubble for just the playoffs.
There's no way. I'm sorry. The NBA players won't do another bubble. I'm sure of it.
Yeah. Okay.
But there is a play-in game, so that's another interesting thing. Which, it's going to be fun seeing Steph Curry in a play-in game, potentially, battling for an 8 seed. Because
man, I miss Clay, but keep going.
I know, and Steph misses Clay more than you.
But
sure Steph's playing incredibly. And do you think if the Warriors are one of those 3 play-in teams that they've got it because of Steph, or what?
No.
Okay.
No, I don't.
Yeah.
Okay, I mean, like, it's not a dig on Steph, but like, dude, there's so many good teams. There's so many good teams in the West. It's just absurd.
I know. I want the Pelicans to get into that spot because I think they're a really good team when playing well. They just don't know how to play defense. It seems like Stan Van is lost but he's got a ton of talent, so they're still on the fringe of getting that play-in game.
I think Monty should have stayed in New Orleans, but that's just me.
Yeah. Let's get back to the Lakers for just 1 second. So I want a definitive answer. What seed do you think they'll be when LeBron gets back? Let me look. I think.
What seed will they be when LeBron gets back, or what seed do they end the year with?
Let's answer both. I think that's very interesting.
They'll end the year 5 or 4.
You think they're going to end the year 5? How many games? There's not many more games left in the year. I mean,
yeah, exactly. I mean, they don't get AD back till next week, and then LeBron doesn't come back till the week after that, and then they lose a couple more as LeBron plays on a minutes restriction. I mean, like, And like what? The Phoenix isn't going anywhere.
Doesn't look like it. No.
The Clippers aren't going anywhere. The Nuggets aren't going anywhere. So where do they go?
Okay, but here's another thing. So the Mavericks are playing great. Okay, we know that. Trailblazers, we know what they can do. Both those teams are much better than the Lakers without AD and LeBron. That's obvious. We both know that. And they're all within 2.5 games. The Blazers are only a half game behind the Lakers, and the Mavericks are 2.5 games behind the Lakers. And they're probably going to go in front of them. They're gonna surpass the Lakers by the time LeBron gets back, and that puts the Lakers in the 7 seed with probably, how many games will he have? 10 games to try to like fight back to get a home court advantage. I don't know. Is it something to worry about, or are the Lakers good enough that their defense can get them through those tough early playoff matchups?
Yeah, I don't know. I'm not worried about not having home court advantage because we know what playoff LeBron does, but he hasn't played without it for very much of his playoff career. But yeah, I don't see them. I don't see them finishing the year as a 7, or let alone an 8. I think they finish the year 5, maybe 6.
Okay. Hypothetically, they finish the year as a 7, and the Suns are a 2. Who wins that series?
I think Phoenix has a realistic chance to win that series. I think it goes to 6 or 7. I think it's LA. I mean, if LeBron's healthy, like what? Like that's not something that we need to really delve that deep into. But
you're right. I'm glad you're saying that because I wanted an answer.
If he doesn't come back until the start of that series, then
what do the Suns have to do to let us know that they're a contender? Because there's something about them. There's something about them. We know that if they face the Lakers are going to win. I mean, LeBron. A healthy Lakers.
Go down the list. Go down the list. If they're the 8 seed, are they beating the Jazz? Yes. If they're the 6 seed, are they beating the Clippers? Yes.
Yes.
If they're the 5 seed, are they beating the Nuggets?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Well, they're the best team in the West. So there we have it.
When fully healthy, yes.
You heard it here last. The Lakers are the best team in the West.
Yeah.
When healthy. All right. Something I just saw on the socials on Bleacher Kicks. Zion's got his first signature shoe, and we got a peek of it. So first glance, what do you think? Where does it stack up?
It stacks down, and it's going to be, if it arrived at my doorstep in the shoebox, it would just be put into the bottom of the rest of my shoeboxes because it is ugly looking, at least whatever colors I'm looking at right now.
Yeah, okay. I looked at it, and the make of the shoe, it's great. It's like the exact shape of a shoe, the exact amount of high top that I want. Everything about it looks great. They look breathable. But why all the colors? Why is it a rainbow? I don't know. It's just that's never been my style, really. I mean, I rock matte black Kyrie's almost every day when I play. I'm not huge into the flashy colors. I'm sure it'll look good on him when he wears them, but hopefully they have other color options, or else I'm not making a purchase.
The colors, for those of you that are listening on Spotify or Apple Music, if you remember the throwback Spurs jerseys with like that Taco Bell looking...
Yeah, dude, it's totally Taco Bell. I didn't even think about that.
It's like teal and like pinkish, and like it looks like kind of like those like the Miami throwback jerseys.
It's got
those
Roy G.
colors.
Biv. It's got everything.
Yeah, and then it's a scribbly mess. I don't like it, but whatever.
Yeah, so I don't know. If there are other color options, I would think about it just because of how much I like the shape of the shoe.
Great.
They look super functional.
They look like Li-Nings, like we mentioned earlier. Was that how you say it? How do you say Li-Ning?
Li-Ning. That's it.
Okay, I have another question for you, Sam. So, some of these like middling free agents, we talked about this last week. Do they go to the grocery store? But like middling free agents or role players, guys playing like 10, 11, 12 minutes games, Aaron Baines of the world, like those kind of guys. Mm-hmm. When they're choosing a team to sign with as a free agent, do factors like travel planes, like the quality of the team's planes, like the hotels that they're staying at, their practice facility, even
yes,
things
for sure.
Even things like their like medical staff and stuff like that play any role, or is it pretty much just salary, team make, and like state income tax or not?
It's tough to say because they do make a ton of money. Even those middling guys, the guys that jump around, they're still making a ton of money. So I don't think they're on their phone looking at rent prices, really. I think they know that they can afford wherever they're going. When it comes to facilities and plane and staff, I think that has a huge factor. I mean, there's a certain culture in any organization, in any business, and you can walk in and you usually can feel it pretty quick. So when you walk in and the staff is welcoming and very nice, obviously they're gonna be nice to you because you're the talent. But if you walk in and you can feel that atmosphere, that winning atmosphere, very positive, that makes a huge difference on these guys' choices to land somewhere, I think. But who knows? It could just be like, this team's paying me an extra $1 million. With the older guys, they're going to try to find championships. That's why everyone's joining the Nets. But yeah, I think it has a lot to do with the staff and the personnel and some people.
Well, I know staff and personnel plays a role. Like, I mean, KD and Kyrie went to Brooklyn instead of the Knicks. Mm-hmm. But like, I'm talking like these small, like, how great really is Oklahoma City Thunder's like plane? It's probably not that freaking great, dude.
Yeah, well, I've had the pleasure of checking out the Pistons plane. I think they retired it because all these NBA teams are now, they rent. But I had the privilege of checking out the one that took them to all 3 championships. And, I mean, it's like a full-on commercial plane for, 30 people total? That's pretty sick. Yeah. So even Detroit, when Detroit is financially one of the worst performing teams in the country, still has a sick plane.
Yeah.
I don't know if the planes changed much.
These guys aren't taking buses. Like, I know that. They're
not taking buses. Yeah. Oklahoma City is interesting because I feel like they have a great culture. I feel like a lot of guys might go there and check it out and be like, wow, like, yeah, everyone here really cares about the team and wants to win. They have nobody right now. Shai Gilgeous is their guy, and everyone else is hurt. And
he is a guy, though. He is a guy. He's not nobody. He is a guy.
He is a guy. That's why I tried to mention him right after I said they have nobody, because I really like Shai. But
I do too.
They win games when he's hurt. I don't get it. Their lineup is Pukachevsky, the rookie, who's been pretty good. Theo Maledon has been really good as a rookie. Lou Dort is going to be one of those defensive player of the year guys moving forward.
But Rudy's going to win another DPOY, isn't he?
Yeah, probably.
Oh, God.
I don't know. Miles Turner.
He's so good.
If the Pacers make that late push, I like Miles Turner. And we talked about this a few weeks ago, but the best defender, in my opinion, in terms of lockdown at the end of a game, is Ben Simmons. I don't even think it's close. It's Roy Hibbert. If you want a guy to lock down every position, it's got to be Hibbert.
It's got to be Roy Hibbert.
Do we have anything else to talk about?
Yeah, dude. Who's going to win the Masters?
Okay. Man, it's hard for me to buy in without Tiger there. I miss him. I want to watch Tiger play. But
so you're not going to watch the Masters because Tiger's not in it? Is that where you're at with golf these days? Because that's like,
I know it's sad.
On the podcast right now worthy.
I know it's sad, but I'm at a weird space with golf. Part of it's because I haven't been playing enough, so it doesn't feel as relatable as normal. Because I love watching it and then going to a course.
You love playing.
I do love playing. So what I'm saying is when I watch golf, it helps that I'm able to like drive to a golf course. But I don't have a spot in LA that I can just drive to.
Yeah.
And nothing that I can afford out here is really worth playing because it's municipal courses, which are beautiful. They actually have some really pretty ones. But the par 4s are 300 yards. It's a different game, you know? I want to have to hit my... Baby. Yeah, and I'm a huge pro municipal golf course guy. I mean, get people out there. Like, I want people to be able to play if they want to play. But like I said, the quality of the course is not not going to be the best when you're paying $13 for 9 holes in the middle of Los Angeles. You know what I mean?
Yeah. No, I hear you.
Okay, so back to the Masters. Who do you have? Do you have any sleeper picks? Who's your guy? Who's going to win it?
Well, Spieth won Valero last week. I'm not going to pick him. I think my pick is Collin Morikawa. If I had to just pick one guy, I went through and made a ton of Masters bets to the point where I can't even keep track of who I bet on at this point because I was a few beers deep.
You better have at least put some money on DJ.
I got some money.
Because what would happen is, for me, is because I'm not a huge DJ fan, I would go bet on a little bit on so many players and still factor it out. So I'm hedging my bet, and then DJ would just go in.
Yeah. No.
Because he's the best player right now.
I'm not hedging. I full send. I don't have time to hedge, dude. What am I gonna do?
Yeah. Who really cares?
No, I'm not hedging.
I take Rory. I want Rory. Give me
Rory
Rory.
has no shot.
Give me Rory, baby.
He's been playing awful. Maybe,
yeah, but
I don't
sometimes
know.
it
Maybe
happens.
the magic.
You don't always have to lead into a big tournament playing well. We've seen that before.
Okay. You're not wrong. No, you're not wrong. We've seen guys. Phil Mickelson won 3 Masters, and that guy never plays good until he gets to Augusta these days.
Yeah, and one of Bubba Watson's, I don't think he played well leading up.
No,
the other one, he was on fire and won. But yeah, I take Rory because I want a new hero in golf, and if there's going to be anyone right now who's a top tier player that becomes a new hero in golf, it's Rory. He's likable. He has a cute accent. He seems nice. He hits the ball far. He's been around for years and years. That is a good way to put it.
He does have a cute accent. It's very Irish, and
you need something because DJ. I don't want to hear him talk at all.
Can I hear your Irish accent?
I don't have an Irish accent at all. Actually, I might. What should I say?
Say, hey, I'm about to go win the Masters and shoot a 69 this week.
I don't know.
We need to hear it, Sam. The people want it.
I don't think I could do it. I can't even wrap my head around so many of those words in Irish. What?
I couldn't fake an Irish accent. Every accent I do comes out semi-Australian, semi-Southern,
when I was thinking about that accent in my head, it sounded super Canadian, so I was like, I'm not going to do it.
Canadian.
I'm about.
Dude, for those of you that don't know, Sam has a sketch channel on YouTube, and it is personally my favorite channel on YouTube. I don't even say this because I work with the guy. Personally, I think the guy himself is just kind of an idiot, but his channel is incredible.
That's true.
You gotta check out the channel.
Yeah, check it out. I'm stalling. My channel is not moving up right now, and I don't know what to attribute that to. So go subscribe to it if you possibly make it this far in the podcast, which you won't. Go ahead and check out my channel.
We're speaking to ourselves.
And if you do make it, you probably already subscribed to my channel.
Shout out Barbie Showalter because she watches this. And
do you think she's going to make it to the end? Probably not.
No.
Not even my own mother.
How many people fast forward to the last 8 minutes just so they can throw in oh dude, I heard in the last podcast that
I don't know. I know your mom reached out to my mom about our last one. And because we haven't been promoting this, by the way, everyone, we've made a few. We're trying to get better, and we're trying to figure out all the audio and the lighting and just our process. But that's why we're referencing our moms, the only people that we've really sent them to. But yeah, your mom reached out to my mom and talked about the cashew story in mine, and I just thought that was cool because I don't think our moms talk that much anymore. We grew up together, but your family lives in Georgia, and we're up in Michigan. I think it's cool. We're already seeing one of those unknown benefits of our moms, saying hi to each other. That's
I do have to say though, I will unapologetically talk about my mother for the rest of time, and I love my mother and your mom. Exactly. I also love her.
We got good moms. So we're lucky people.
I'm a big moms guy, dude. Moms are great.
Moms are great. Moms are needed. Where are we?
We're donezo.
We're done. Okay. Cool. Should we try to say it at the same time?
Yes.
All right. Thanks for watching. Home Court
Podcast.
NBA podcast.